The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the New Media Factory. Some programs on this network might include strong images and language and may not be suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to Coffee Break! It's another Tuesday! Oh, grabe kung maka-wave! Ang taas ng energy level today kasi nandiyan na yung guest namin. Naka-blazer ako today.
Sino yung guest natin today?
Secret surprise. Anyway, so today our topic is social media. Social media is one of the things that has revolutionized life, I think, in general.
Yes.
The way news is conducted, the way information is disseminated, the way businesses are run.
The way relationships
are handled. That is true! Facebook.
Meaning ang mga
Twitter
long-distance
even.
relationships dyan. Skype.
No, and like when you like somebody, you have to search them on Facebook to see if they're in a relationship.
And like a profile picture of theirs, that is like 23rd in the album. Profile picture.
Yung halatang ano mo.
Or in the case of couples on the more superficial level, why are you following her?
Yeah.
Why are you still friends? Wait, bakit nagko-comment pa siya?
Hindi ko yun ginagawa. Naman pinaguhugutan.
Excuse me.
Anyway,
Just kidding.
but social media has, you know, a greater relevance, not just for
Breaking up relationships.
not just breaking up relationships.
Or forming relationships.
While forming relationships, but now I think there's a bigger purpose for it, which is causing social change.
Yes.
A few months ago, we the four of us plus a group of young Filipinos called the Global Shapers, we launched a contest called Catalyst, and it was to seek the top 5 best tech-based solutions for social change for existing community problems.
Which is perfect.
Holding hands.
I just remembered I was live tweeting the sauna last week.
Okay.
And I remember the most retweeted of all of those was the one when Pinoy said something about anong ginagawa mo na solusyon. Meaning, hindi lang puro sila, anong ginawa mong solution about it. And this is precisely what he was talking about. Initiatives like this na not all in the government.
Yeah.
Na, regular individuals with something they want to address, with a problem they want to find a solution to, pitching their ideas. So perfect, di ba?
Yes.
Wala lang, naisip ko lang na ang galing.
No, and
I agree.
Yeah.
See?
And I really think it's amazing how, whereas before, it's something unique or it's something extraordinary for you to be able to start something at such a young age. Wherein now, instead of it being extraordinary, I think it's what expected of young people. Like to really be part of the solution. And I think social media also plays a part in that.
Definitely.
Like you see other young people being involved, so it makes you question, teka lang, what am I doing?
No, and the accessibility of everything. You start a blog and it can start a whole thought process and revolution. You start parang you can message your idol broadcaster or artista, and if they reply, then that's mileage for you. Things like that.
So for me, what's amazing is that, you know, there was a media blackout for one of the rallies in Turkey. I think, in Turkey, right? And but then the media blackout didn't work because they brought the revolution through social media.
Yeah.
So for me, that's a big example of how you can use social media for social change. Sorry, Shelly.
No, I was just going to say that what I find amazing is before, like a decade ago, what I knew of the internet was MIRC.
Yes.
Users of that.
ICQ.
Correct. And the movements,
my God.
the movements that were formed through MIRC were school wars. Wow.
Totoo yan.
Naglalaban ng mga taga-Ateneo, sa taga-Lasal, FEU. So ngayon, sobrang laking pagbabago nito na it's being used for good and there's actual on-the-ground counterpart. Yes, action.
Yeah.
More than just blah, 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 blah.
Armchair
Yes.
activism. Okay. So now let's move on to our top 5, which are the top 5 winners of Catalyst. These winners are getting 200,000 pesos worth of support from our partner, Globe.
Actually, I like the title of your article. Anna wrote an article about it. It said the top 5 apps that will change the Philippines.
And we do believe that these apps are going to change the Philippines.
First
is blood type.
Okay, so blood type, I'm not sure if you guys would often encounter, but on Facebook, Twitter, like for me personally, I would always encounter these messages, like people looking for blood donations.
Especially with cases, the increasing number of cases of dengue.
Yeah, especially if it's dengue season, you're right. Like, and there always seems to be a demand for blood, but at the same, paano ba? For blood. Anyway, sorry, for blood donation.
Parang hindi namin naisip
Edward.
Pero sige.
Yeah, so blood type is actually an app wherein it strives to connect blood donors to blood recipients.
Yes.
And what it requires is, this is actually something that's being done in other countries also, but this is something that we want to be able to do in the Philippines, or the group wants to be able to do here in the Philippines, is that if you are a blood donor, you know where to go, or you know who is the person that needs the blood the most.
Yeah.
And in the same time, if you're in need of blood, you don't have to do a Facebook
text
campaign,
blast or whatever.
Or you don't have to get all your friends to do it. Now you know where to go.
Yes.
To actually secure the blood type that you need.
And the proponents of blood type are actually UP Med students. So they're already doing work in hospitals, and they're gonna try to pilot it starting in Metro Manila, selected like 3 hospitals first. So there. Next. Clinical Eye. Clinical Eye is a diagnostic software focusing on neglected tropical diseases. Because there are a lot of people infected, especially in the far-flung areas. And according to, ito naman, proponents nito, Ateneo Med students. And sabi nila, ang clinical eye daw is a term used if you're a really good doctor and you can just look at the patient and see their symptoms and be able to diagnose.
Ano pag artist? Maganda yan. Bakit? Basta maganda yan.
Yeah.
So, may sakit yan. Basta may sakit yan.
Or parang Dr. House. The TV series na parang kaya niyang tignan.
Well, Dr. House needs to run a lot of tests.
And research.
Sometimes it just connects things.
Well, yeah. In fairness.
Yeah.
So it focuses on neglected tropical diseases. And their first pilot testing area will be in Sorsogon.
Yeah, it is perfect for far-flung barangays that, for example, they will take 3 hours to get to the nearest city in the hospital. So they can go to their barangay health center, probably send a picture of the rash or whatever, match it, and then...
My question is, why is Sorsogon again? Is it that where the...
They have a community.
Already
there.
Ayaw mo.
Bakit saan mo gusto?
Parang yung question niya, dapat dun sa, sa deliberation natin, dito mo nilabas?
Bakit? Bakit ako yung tinatanong mo?
Okay, next.
I'm curious kung may certain tropical disease na...
Okay. Clarify mo, i-contextualize mo yung tanong. Okay. Next. Itapon. Ako na naman mag-explain. Itapon.
Blazer ka daw ito.
Naka-blazer tsaka pearls ako kaya kailangan panindigan ko.
yan.
Okay, Itapon naman is an app that teaches you how to recycle. And it also connects you to the nearest junk shop where you can sell your trash for cash.
I think what's...
Go.
Naniningit. What I find brilliant about this is they are going to try to standardize the way junk is, the value of junk.
Yes.
So, kunyari, yung lata mo, di ba kasi iba-iba? Per, what do you call that? Yung magbabote, magbabakal. Jaryobote. Oo, so, ito, they're not only helping consumers or online citizens be more aware, they're also really providing livelihood for those that, for those na yun yung kinabubuhay.
Bongga. Okay, next.
Yan, dahil nagmamadali ako magsalita, this one is mine. Ay, nanay. It's an SMS
Ito, logo buntis.
supper.
Because you are.
Mga ano yan, 6 months. So, ay,
May
nanay.
clinical eye ka.
Meron akong clinical eye. Call me Doctora House. So, ay, nanay is an SMS-activated prenatal and postnatal care for pregnant mommies or mommies to be, hindi pregnant, isa lang yun. So kung kunyari, sa health center, mag-subscribe ka, if you are currently 3 months pregnant, magkakaroon ka ng advice through your cell phones, kung ano yung dapat na tinitake mo, what kind of nutrition you should be having, what extra care, what not to do.
And also reminders for checkups, immunizations, things like that.
After,
and sige, go.
Lalo na kasi pag buntis ka, ang dami sobrang haka-haka. As in lahat. Bawal magkape. Bawal magpakulay ng buhok. Hindi naman haka-haka yun. But, you know, depends.
Parang how do you filter through all that information?
And especially, like for me, I'm pregnant. Announcement!
Congratulations!
Yeah. It helps to have, thank you sa mga nagka-clap sa likod. It helps to have someone, a legitimate advisor.
Right.
Tapos diretso pa sa cellphone mo. Hindi yung mga nagka-criticize na lang, mali yung ginagawa mo. Iba yung advice that comes na life-giving, hindi yung condemning. So I really appreciate this.
I love this app. Or I watched this pitch and I think he concluded by saying, because no one should die giving life.
No one should die. And what I find so brilliant about this is that it uses SMS.
Yes.
And compared to the other winners, it's all like mobile apps or websites. You need a smartphone, but this one,
it's accessible to all.
SMS. I mean, almost everybody in the Philippines, even
wala naman yung landline, sabi ni Pinoy.
Cellphone na lang. Diba? I mean, it's and you can subscribe to it. It's what, 1 peso per text. That's not a lot considering, you know, if you have only text or whatever. So
this could be a very good tool na kasabay ng RH law.
Yes.
Okay,
next. The last one.
Next and last, and I think, a lot of people think. It's called Wiki Pangako. It's actually a site.
Yes.
Not an app. There, the tagline is holding every Filipino accountable. This is basically, I'll make kwento what you shared, inspired by all these politicals promising education, health, more schools, more homes, whatever.
Jobs.
No more corruption.
Jobs, yes. And when they win, ano nangyari? Anyari. So this is basically a crowdfunding of all the promises of national, well, starting with national elected officials. And another cool feature of Wiki Pangako is the pork barrel watch. So people can report where the pork is
where the pork is going.
and with that app, with that website also, they're going to tap good governance groups to provide the information and to verify them. So that's the sort of validating aspect.
Internal validity.
Imagine if this works before 2016 elections. Ang sarap nun. Na alam mo, yung hindi ka bumoboto lang na sino ba dito yung walang pamilya dati? Boboto yung, diba? Kasi ako, that's one of my pag feeling ko hindi ko siya narinig before, and actually give the person a chance without even knowing the platform, which is very, very ignorant and wrong of me. Don't do that. Yun, so
actually, a nice story nga that inspired it, the one Anna shared, that basically they were watching TV, there was a political ad on, and then they just go, the mom
and the proponent.
Diba, yun yung pangako din ng tatay niya. As simple as that. Parang, nga naman. So,
from generation to generation, you make the same promises, but no one really keeps track of all of those things that salitang binibitawan nyo during all these whatever, meeting the advances and
actually what I find commendable of late in terms of efforts related to this, it's a group called Movement for Good Governance, and I think it's by Winnie Monsod, Nene Guevara, Bobby De Ocampo, and what they did was that they came up for a scorecard for the president, and they said, so these are all the things that the president promised, this is what he has fulfilled so far. And what's interesting is that I think yung first year niya, 4 point something lang yung score niya. The following year, 5.37. And then this year, it's 5.57.
Okay.
I mean, kasi parang I think the challenge naman for...
True!
Ay, sorry. No, parang for me, what I find interesting, kasi when you watch the Sona, it's so easy to be optimistic. I mean, I'd love to be
pessimistic.
Or pessimistic.
I was gonna say that.
Right? But then this one, at least, it's based on facts. And at least, you also see na, okay, the government is progressing, but maybe not fast enough. Maybe what are the things we can do to actually speed up the progress?
And one last thing about all of these apps, the oldest winner is 24 years old.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Isn't that something else?
Yeah.
So, ibabalik na ba natin sa quarter life crisis yung topic?
Am I doing enough?
What am I doing with my life?
So these apps are going to be launched in mid-November, first or second week of November. So watch out for that.
Yes.
And having said that, watch out for our guest. Okay, basta segue. Okay, so we're gonna take a break. Hold on to your seats. You'll want to. You'll want to hold on to your seats.
Teleport.
Okay, go.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with a game Chubby Bunny, but
Wait.
have you played Chubby Bunny before?
No.
You put a marshmallow in your mouth, you say Chubby Bunny, and you keep putting it in your mouth, and you keep saying Chubby Bunny.
Okay.
Whoever can fit the most in their mouth wins. But we're not gonna say Chubby Bunny. We're gonna have a conversation.
Okay.
Perfect. Yeah. So I'm gonna ask you, okay ka na ba?
Okay.
And you're gonna be like, okay na, okay na.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Go.
2 at a time.
Okay, we're gonna do this time. Okay ka na ba? What?
Okay na.
I'm sorry.
Okay ka na ba?
Okay na.
Okay ka na ba?
Okay na.
Okay. No, that's disgusting. Then the maid got jaundice. Jaundice is different from jaundice. Jaundice is buntis, like that. But she does not. Tears up. Anyway, jaundice does not know. This is professional show. I will put the merienda here. So jaundice, and I'm now happy to present to you Carl Lutario. Halika dito, te! Tabi tayo! Gusto mo ng snacks? Ano ba to? Ganyan ba yan? Tapos?
Ang puti, mama.
Ay, tapos. Dito ba? Pwede ba dyan?
Pwede. Concealer. Yan, para sa show mo, ha? Oh.
Aray ko, amayaya ba? Pwede ba itong ano? Zora, pang ano ba to? Oil absorbing? Pwede ba itong pang nose line?
Tita Kay, may caution.
Caution! Caution! Basta ng glamour, te!
When used for the first 2 weeks, more pimples will appear. Burahin na sila. Sorry, ma'am. Ito talaga?
Pwede bago yan, don't worry.
Buti ako sa mata lang. Hindi naman nagkakat yun. Dapat pala caution muna yung pinasa natin.
Join your host Carrots Nazareno on Live Love Lols every Thursday, 7:30 to 8:30, only here on The Factory.
Welcome back, and we have a guest who really needs no introduction. Co-founder of Pero mag-introduce na rin ako. Co-founder of Rappler.com, Maria Ressa.
Kaya naka-blazer siya.
Kaya naka-blazer at pearls ako today kasi kailangan matching kami. Naka-blazer din siya. Okay, welcome Maria. Thank you so much for making time for this
No, thanks for having me. It's nice to see you all behind the scenes.
Feeling ko Pasko!
Anniversary special. Yung picture ko kayo later. Okay, so of course, Rappler, everyone now knows it. When did you start Rappler?
A year and a half ago.
See, a year and a half, and now worldwide.
Fingers crossed.
From making ripples, you're now making waves.
We hope. Again, fingers crossed.
And everyone wants to be part of Rappler.
Again, we hope.
What inspired you?
It's looking at what technology can allow you to do. And then trying to unlearn all of the things that you've learned about the way it's supposed to be, because things have changed drastically, and I think you four ladies actually know it firsthand. But as we were just saying, my generation is so different from yours. Our challenges are different, and I think part of what Rappler's trying to do is to bridge that. I am the eldest of the new, probably, because if you're much older than I am, you're going to think social media is too chaotic. It's not worth your time.
Yeah.
But if you're too young naman, you may not have the experience to set up an organization.
Yeah.
I think that's probably Rappler's advantage. You know, we have the experienced journalists who are there, but yet it's our 20-somethings who power everything new that we do. All we do, the 4 or 5 of us who are above 40 and a little older, all we do is kind of guide it, try to add in the discipline of professional journalists, but harness the creativity that this technology allows now.
Our episode. Thanks for watching.
I think we're gonna slow clap the entire episode. So a few of the interesting features of Rappler, kasi ang dami. One thing I personally like is the mood meter.
The mood meter.
Explain to us how you feel that affects.
Everything works together on this, and the 3 big ideas are journalism is just your content creator, but social media amplifies. Social media creates engagement, which is crowdsourcing. Crowdsourcing creates big data, which gives insight about the society you're serving and brings it right back to content. So it's a continuous circle, and the mood meter is the first engagement point. That's the first experiment in crowdsourcing Rappler did. And why? Because the neuroscientists say that up to 80% of how you ladies, how we all make decisions in our daily life is not based on what we think. It's based on how we feel. And yet, in news in particular, we're always taught it's about what you think. You appeal to the brain. When you appeal to the brain, you don't get much action. It's to inspire people, and you guys know how to do this. To inspire people to action, you actually have to appeal to their emotions. All advertising goes to there. So why should news not do that when news is about essential information? So it starts there, and then once you ask people what they feel, then what they think follows. It asks you to comment. Every story's mood meter then translates. All the results of that are crowdsourced every day in the Mood Navigator. That's at the middle of the front page.
Yeah.
That Mood Navigator is constantly millions of people now voting to choose the mood of the day. Today, 10 of the stories this morning, the top 10 stories, all green. Very happy day.
Wow, very
because
good.
the sauna, several things, sauna, LeBron. I mean, this is the funny thing, huh? Like, so even if you think back, like to the May elections, you can take, once you have that crowdsourced data, it's big data, right? So if you look at the entire month of May with the millions of votes, Filipinos, the people who were on Rappler, were 77% happy. But there was a spike at the end of the month of May that was angry. And you know what it was? You can pinpoint what makes people feel the way they feel. Jessica Soho and Vice Ganda. Angry and annoyed, spike.
Wow.
You know, so again, it tells you a lot of things, and when you feed that back to the society, hopefully it makes you more self-aware, makes us more self-aware, and we understand a little bit more and hopefully modify our behavior.
Actually, I have an interesting story to share about the mood meter.
Yes, because you write for it.
No, I wrote I wrote a Rappler for I wrote an article for Rappler, making me tongue-tied. Okay, so I wrote an article for Rappler. It was called 5 Good Things the Government is Doing, or 5 Awesome Things the Government is Doing.
That did very well.
Yeah, but if you look at the mood meter, no, but if you look at the mood meter, it was something like 60% happy, but a large percent of people were angry or like pissed or something because they thought it was a paid article. Yes. And the comments were parang, wow, binayaran, or what a PR piece, like that. And it showed me how cynical Filipinos are about the government. And the whole idea of the article was to show that, you know, the government isn't just sitting on their asses the whole day. Yeah. They're actually doing something productive. So it also made me think, what can we do to, it makes you really more self-aware. What can we do to sort of change the way that kind of thought is all over, diba? So,
but you are again. That's what's the good and the bad of it, right? You did something that you believe you're using social media to actually push these action points. The energy you guys, all 4 of you, just doing this is actually going to contribute to that. You're causing your own individual ripples, but slacktivism. You've heard that saying.
Yes.
Right? So it's very easy for people who aren't acting to just sit back and crush things before they become reality. It's easy to criticize, and for armchair people who criticize, okay, fine, criticize.
Yeah.
But that shouldn't stop us, and I think that's part of what social media allows you to do. You can't be thin-skinned. I think hopefully, you know, we all know that.
I think Bianca knows that the most.
You're informal settlers. No, but, you know, you can't be thin-skinned because, again, it's so easy when you're anonymous to actually throw rocks. You know, but at the same time, how do you get things done? It's not by throwing rocks. It's actually by getting out there, taking a shovel, and digging the ground and creating something.
Shelly.
I remember Gang Badoy would always post pag anonymous hindi counted. I just like that. Oo nga naman. If you have
Kasi there's no accountability.
Yes, oo. Bakit hindi ka maaaring magyabang or mang-away kapag hindi mo rin naman, syempre hindi maaari because anyone can post comments. But also for someone maybe who wrote the piece that is being ridiculed by all these anonymous posters, you also need to take things with a grain of salt because there is a reason why they are keeping their anonymity.
But I think this is why I like big data. Because social media still gets personal. In fact, that's part of its power. But big data, when you look at trends, is no longer personal, and all of the trash gets washed out. You know, because then you can see the pattern. The law of large numbers will show you this is the pattern in how people are behaving. They're 77% happy. Even if you had a lot of anonymous people throwing rocks at you, it doesn't matter. It washes out. That for me is where technology pushes all of this. It's, you know, again, the negative parts, PRISM, what the NSA is going through with Edward Snowden. Everything we do, you're leaving a trail. Our digital exhaust is there for anyone to mine. And digital all four of you have. Diba? It's all of the four of you have probably more digital exhaust than I have. I won't. We want to highly doubt it.
Not even if I lived 3 times more.
But those things are there for insights, and I think that's so. Again, I go back. The naysayers will always be there in any, whether it's they're anonymous or not.
Yes,
people will always challenge you, but why should you let that stop you?
Right. Feedback is always good. It says where people are. It's not necessarily about you, but where people are at the moment, their perspective. Kasi hindi naman nila kasalanan kung bakit yun din yung paningin. Hindi rin naman necessarily mali sila just because hindi kayo nag-agree.
Correct. So the other part that's interesting to me is our society still hasn't actually figured out that their opinions say a lot more about them than it does about what they're commenting about. Right?
Instagram that shit. Yes, it does.
Values are embedded in there.
Yes, and then last year I joined Maria for a social good summit, and one of the things I said that I was shocked people also responded to was when I said, for me kasi feedback, it's also for me. Like I said, I'm actually not against bashers because I think bashers keep the balance.
Right.
And a lot of people are like, and then a lot of people posted comments about what I said. And personally, I feel that because di man pwede good lahat sa buhay, di ba? Syempre, you have to gising-gising pag may time. You have to know the bad stuff also and just filter which is
constructive
and constructive. Yeah.
I think one step further, in our personal lives, we tend to create echo chambers. And this one, social media can actually make it worse. But in general, 2/3 of our social interactions are with people we know. And only 1/3 is reaching out. Maybe the four of you have a better ratio than that because you guys are doing different things. But again, that 1/3 reaching out, 2/3 means your ideas are going around the same echo chamber. So what social media, what this now allows us when you have people who criticize you is you can't cocoon yourself. Again, even if you have a great idea, if no one challenges it, it doesn't get better. And okay, not to my old network, your present network, but one of the things that surprised me when I came back to the Philippines, when I was heading the newsroom of ABS-CBN, was I was surprised that people weren't honest. You know, at the beginning I was saying, wait, you're lying to me, but that came out wrong. Let me phrase it this way. We have a high power distance index in our society. Yeah. The kids don't actually have it as much as the people in my generation. And that means that you don't challenge your boss. Even if your boss is leading the group like a lemming off a cliff. Diba? And we've seen that. That's why, and that's not just in the Philippines. Enron, you know, so when people don't challenge, and this was my experience at the beginning, I throw out an idea. I'm a foreigner coming into the Philippines, and people would nod, and it would only be later that I would find out that people thought it was a stupid idea, but they didn't want to tell me it was a stupid idea. It's a stupid idea. You should say it. Diba? Parang that's part of, I think, where is it bashers? Well, whatever.
Criticism
is good. Feedback is good. Where is the line where your confidence can take it, and where is the line where it moves from positive to negative? It's different for every person. But I think the potential, again, you guys will live later than I will, but I think the potential to change everything, the ideas that you're hatching now will be better tested than what we do behind closed doors and what we did when I was younger.
I really like that insight, because I do feel that Filipinos, or at least maybe not just the older ones, I do think that it's still common among younger people that we tend to be allergic to confrontation, or
I would say that. I think it's a cultural thing to be non-confrontational.
To always be polite, to be respectful. But
is it still?
Yeah.
Sugarcoat things.
Yeah,
to not
instead of saying but so I think what you pointed out, I think what social media does is that it makes Filipinos more comfortable with coming out, with sharing their opinion. And not all feedback or not all opinions are valid, but at least it forces you now to take a stand. Like, my favorite example would be RH Bill, because I'm
which is at the Supreme Court right now.
Yes,
second oral arguments. Yes,
but just looking at my Facebook, sometimes you tend to be schizophrenic, because you hear all the pro-RH, you see all the pro-RH people, you see the anti-RH people, but at least for me, although I do feel that there should have been more dialogue or more conversations that happened between the two, I was just happy that people took a stand.
And people were talking about it.
Yeah.
People were fighting about it because it mattered that much.
Yeah.
And that's the way I see it.
Something that you would usually prefer not to talk about.
Yeah, which is so much more than being apathetic and saying, well, whether it gets bashed or not doesn't matter, you know.
When you said that your generation also moves away from confrontation, I don't think that's true. Not compared to the generation ahead of you. I actually think you're far more confrontational.
As long as it's an egg on Twitter. As long as it's anonymous.
Not even on Twitter. Just even in real life. The four of you say what you think, right? So again, I think that's technology, because we're no longer as parochial as we were.
That's true.
Remember, it took 2 weeks for a letter to come from the U.S. to the Philippines, and vice versa.
Yeah.
And even when I was with CNN, I could see there's a 2-week delayed reaction to the news. Both from the States to here, and then from Asia to the States. That's gone. So hopefully your values have changed. But again, it goes back to silence is assent. Assent can be lying if you don't agree with it. So I go back to our culture, and I just hope if this country wants to move forward, the first step is actually honesty. So okay, if it's trolling right now that we're going through, fine. Let's just get to the honesty part, right?
We'll mature eventually, maybe.
Well, speaking of things that people talk about, for me, what I find fascinating that Rappler does is hashtag mapping. You know, I'm a fan of this, Maria. Yeah, hashtag mapping meaning
because we mapped you and saw. It's hard, yeah.
No, basically, when something trends, you can actually map it. And one, I think, story that I loved about this was the American Idol finals with Philip Phillips and Jessica Sanchez. Can you share how you sort of felt like mapping can predict?
Again, it goes back to big data. And can you predict the future? Can you predict what we're going to do based on our behavior on social media? American Idol actually showed you could. What did we do? Well, there are 2 things that we do. One is we map communities. So like yesterday, hashtag SONA 2013. We map those communities, and then what we do is we look at who are the force multipliers in this virtual world. That means it's like Google PageRank. If you were to take all of our Twitter accounts, right? It's called, the technical term is eigenvector centrality. Bianca has a very large eigenvector centrality. Eigenvector. So it just means she has a large reach. That means it ripples, right? So that's what I was growing in Rappler. I wasn't growing pages, I was growing the eigenvector centrality, page ranks of that Twitter account. What it shows you is, it's like giving a map of our virtual world. It's like giving a map of your brain is what it can do. Then beyond that, once you have all that data and the community that spreads it, you can then predict how the community will act. Why? Because you know several things about it. On the American Idol, we could geotag the tweets. So we could see where the hot spots of the tweets were coming from, and the Philippines was lit up like a light bulb. You know,
Wow.
it was the area in the map that had the largest reach. Number of tweets there, larger than anything in the United States. So if you just go by sheer number of tweets, Jessica Sanchez should have won. But it's
with all the Filipinos on social media, she should have won.
But who votes?
Yeah,
American Idol, right? And then if you look at that, and again, this is all something that data can show you. So it's predictive. That paper was done by physicists and was posted hours before the actual results. For me, what's interesting is what can you do with politics, with elections? And that's part of what we did with big data this time around in these elections was to take a look at our PCOS machines and how we voted. That's really big data. You're talking about 79,000 plus PCOS machines, 52 million voters, each of us voting for nearly 18,000 candidates. When you take all of that and make sense out of it, which is what the computer can do, then you have a predictive, like if you were to vote again next week, what would it be? Could we have predicted Grace Poe as #1? The surveys didn't show.
Yeah, the surveys didn't show.
But we actually may if we were taking snapshots each step of the way. That's what social media can do. You know why? Because social media is action.
Yeah.
It's like snapping a picture of this today and then trying to predict, are you guys going to be friends in the future? Maybe not in the Philippines.
Let me track our timeline.
But that's the fun part of it. I think that, and that's NSA, that's PRISM. The same principles are there. When you look at people's behavior, now can you predict? Minority Report, it's happening now. That's what's behind
The
PRISM.
tailored ads.
Yes.
My interest more in social media and how it's getting bigger is how to keep the integrity of journalism. Because right now, a lot of the businesses are going online. They're getting paid ads, paid tweets. We were talking about that. So how do you, like with Rappler, how do you maintain it na, you know, you get enough advertising for, you know, to run the company?
Just like a lot.
But not enough to compromise your values and your principles as journalists.
You stick to the standards. Standards and ethics manual is still really important. So, for example, again, people ask me how does Rappler make money? It's certainly not in the banner ads. You know, we only have 3 per page. I don't like clutter.
Yeah.
And I don't believe in it anymore because you're not going to look at it. There's too many things flashing, right?
Things,
So for me, to even get a banner ad, you already have to spend a certain amount.
Yeah.
And everything must be transparent. So if it's for a client, if there's a campaign that's for a client, it's labeled. Can you ignore it? Absolutely. It's your choice. Always give the choice in the hands of your consumer. Journalism is never paid. I believe journalism should never be paid. So, for example, a company comes, something went wrong, company comes and offers an advertising package. We said, no, we're going to do the story for free, just give the information. But it was a hefty advertising package. Those are the gray areas in this country, right?
Yeah.
So you just say, you know where those lines are, which is you don't dupe people. If it's a paid ad, say it's a paid in advertorial, infotainment, whatever you want to call it, and those are our guidelines. Now, having said that, the world has changed. BuzzFeed is built on advertising as content. It's marketing. And that's how they've raised money to create the company. Even the Wall Street Journal has advertorials that goes in the content. Forbes, every single, again, as you see traditional media dying, they're looking for different ways. So what will that mean for us as consumers? It means hopefully we will be more alert. We will demand better content. And if it's trash, hopefully we will turn it down. In the Philippines, I have to say, our consumers haven't been that empowered because there's a lot of trash that is still there. For sure. You know, and again, who's to say what's trash? That's the other part that's hard, right? Somebody said, Sona, yesterday on Twitter, we did a red carpet blog. So we did the politics and we did the fashion because people are interested. Right. Now, they may not say they're interested, but they are, and I could see it from the traffic. But some people who were really they're upset. They were saying, this is horrendous. How could you be? Well, last I checked, this country's a democracy, and while I may not like it, others do.
Right.
It's not we're not the Taliban.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, so do you have any last questions? Or is there anything you want to promote? Anything?
Okay, you know what? Thank you for asking. So I'm talking about ideas, right? So one of the things that we've long been talking about, the positive sides of the internet, but we're going to bring in a guy who's been the contrarian. His name is Andrew Keen. He wrote a book called The Cult of the Amateur. You guys familiar with it?
No.
The Cult of the Amateur basically says we're getting rid of knowledge, we're getting rid of professionals, and it's becoming a cult of the amateur. His newest book is called Digital Vertigo. So we're bringing him in because I want to spark debate. His perspective is as correct when we're tired of trolls. Certainly it's like the cult of the amateur. You have somebody in 3rd grade commenting on the National Housing Program. You know, how can you, obviously there are people who are putting in comments, and the reality is not all comments are created equal. Somebody is a physicist, someone is a 3rd grade student, and that's not equal. So this guy will come in and talk about that, and we're putting something together. I think it'll be on August 23 on a Friday, because I think it's time to talk ideas.
This is on Rappler.
You know?
Or a physical...
It's a forum.
It's
a forum. It's kind of like our setup for our Social Good Summit, because we'll do the Social Good Summit again, but I want to move beyond talk. It's time to go to action points. And for that, we're organizing something for that. The people who are actually already doing things, rather than, it's good to talk, it ripples. But now, after that, what do we do?
What's next?
Where the rubber hit the pavement. All these idioms.
Gusto ko maglabas ng Instagram mo.
Ako na yung mag-notes. Magagamit ko next time para matalino ako, di ba? Shocks.
Before we move to the game, I just wanted to comment on what your question regarding the standards for journalists and
keeping the integrity of journalism.
Yun yung isa sa mga pinaka sacred to me when it comes to listening on or being aware of what's going around in social media, because journalism, ano yan eh, kumbaga sa faith may Bible ka. Bilang citizen, journalism keeps you honestly, system siya dapat eh.
Yeah.
So, I'd really like, right now, journalism is dictated by the content creators online. And I'd really like to see, for us, for the entire world to move forward to a culture wherein the users, tayo, become more discerning. Parang having more quality na, knowing nga na kapag kunyari, if this was the source of the information, then maybe hindi siya ganun. Yung konti namang check, hindi yung magbabasa ka lang
and you accept this
as gospel, correct. So I think like when we will see the face of change, or when rubber hits the pavement, I think is also when we as users not only depend on the content creators to do their best, but to also set standards for ourselves.
I agree. Can I add to that?
Yes.
It's also a value in our society. Gossip is cheap here.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
you know, I'm
terrible.
Part of the reason the trolls also gain power is because we aren't careful when we repeat things, and that's part of. I was so shocked when I first came back to the Philippines. People were repeating things that they didn't know was true, and by amplification, it becomes true. You know?
Interaction.
Yeah. So and for me, again, in the different societies I worked in, you're careful. You don't believe everything unless you have proof. Maybe that's maturity, you know?
Yeah, or you know how we, like, I think it was a recent study, I'm not sure, it was at Nielsen, like, how Filipinos, for them, newspapers and television, it's very credible. But the thing is, when you read the newspaper and when you watch television, you also have to, again, you have to be careful who's telling the story.
Yes.
Because everybody has bias.
Yes.
And the story would always be dictated upon the point of view of the one telling the story, as well as, of course, if you're only interviewing 1 or 3 people, you'll only get that side. So I agree that it's time for us to demand quality, and it's time for us to be more discerning.
But I'll throw one last thing in there, which is, what do you do with media corruption?
Yes, that's another.
Yes. Back to you, Maria.
That's another episode. No, but really, because it's such a big issue, especially even now with social media and even traditional media.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Especially during elections. Like, how do you discern how?
And this is like,
how do you discern? What do you want to find out? How do we discern which is
credible and which one's paid? And
you educate the Filipino people.
One of my best friends is a journalist, and Mano Miga has we get a lot of Rustans and SMGCs during Christmas because they get so many GCs from different companies who want to make them more open for them to be more vulnerable to the stories of those companies. I mean, for me, that's just, it's not.
Buti nga yan, GC, and it's sad that I'm saying na buti nga yan, GC. Some are paying for front pages of lifestyle magazines of broadsheets, and those are paid. It doesn't say at all, it's advertorial.
Yeah.
And when you call because we've asked before, there was we contested this feature for a tobacco industry front cover. We said, if you're going to feature the president of Philip Morris, you have to feature the other side of the story. It can't be just on them.
Yeah.
Okay lang yun, that's journalism, pero kailangan equal.
Both sides.
And they said, no, we can't do anything kasi it's paid. Huh? 3 pages? 4 full pages, and then a cover on the lifestyle magazine. Sige na, sabihin mo ng lifestyle, but it's still carried by a national broadsheet.
Yeah.
So it's taken as news, diba?
Yeah.
So I'm curious about the question, how do we decide nga naman when media has become corrupted? What do we believe? Parang ganon?
Even just speaking about the tobacco issue, remember there was an editorial that came out in 3 different newspapers.
Yeah.
But they had the same phrases, and then they're claiming it's not paid. Come on,
yes,
we're not that stupid. When I saw it, I was flabbergasted. Wow, I just wanted to use something polysyllabic to impress Maria. No, but really, it had the exact same phrases, and you're telling me that it wasn't. It's crazy. So. That's a
problem we put on your lap. Please comfort us.
Unfortunately, I don't really see the end of it yet, and I've seen the worst.
Yeah, I'm sure.
We've tried to clean up, and I think we did significant cleanup when I was heading a news crew. It's part of our culture when your country is endemically corrupt. Media mirrors it. In many ways. So what can you do about it? We've taken those same things. You take a zero tolerance approach to corruption, the entities themselves. If they benefit, will they? Maybe not. So then does it go back to the public? Let me ask you, we did a story on that where there's 3...
Yeah, I read it,
right?
I read it in Republic.
Did you stop reading? Did you write a letter to the editor? Did you stop reading those papers? Did you write something about, again, that civic engagement goes down to that. When you see something wrong, what is that phrase? Is it somebody said all it takes for evil to flourish is for good men to do nothing, right? So in that one, I remember who they are, and we put their names there, and we tried to get their responses, and they didn't respond. But they can't file any libel cases against me because
it's there.
And you have it. So it goes to that. First, each of us, when we see something, say it's wrong.
Yeah.
And then let the people know that you see it. on the big picture, one of the things we're trying to do, Media Nation every year gets together, and you know, the estimates of the journalists was that up to 80 to 85% of media may be corrupt. You know, that's a lot. That's a lot. That means we're living in a ripple effect in the wrong way. Will it change? Let me put it this way. The reason it's like that is because businesses benefit as well. So, like Shakespeare, neither a borrower nor a lender be. You know, once people stop trying to corrupt, then the corrupt will no longer have any business. So it's a chicken or the egg. I think people know credibility. People know who cannot be bribed. And in the end, they go to them. Because if you continue to perpetuate that cycle where media is bribed, then no one knows what the reality really is. And I think in the end, that's what our society needs, transparency. So my fingers are still crossed. I hope in your generation it gets better.
We will see it happen.
Wiki pangako, holding every leader accountable.
Ano media? Wikimedia.
Okay, and with that, we're gonna play a game. We're gonna play a quick game.
Okay.
We have to exchange.
Okay.
Basically, the name of the game is Charades.
Wow.
And it's Team and Coffee Break. You will join Team Coffee Break versus Team NMF. So basically, these are all words connected to online world or social media.
They're complaining.
So 1 minute each. Lynn, you will act for Coffee Break.
I will
time. Okay, so...
Wait, so I'll get as many words as I can?
No,
Yeah,
just
in
one.
1 minute.
Just one. In 1 minute.
Okay.
No, just one.
First time mo maglaro ng charades.
Isa-isa.
Curious ako, pakilang episode na natin to.
Okay.
Naka-apat na charades na tayo, girl.
Okay, ready.
Ready.
Move here. They're gonna see your words.
Okay. We're teammates.
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure. Baka iniba mo yung rules. Okay, go. Ready, set, go.
Social media. Okay.
1 word. 2 syllables. First syllable.
Ay, first word.
Flipped. Second syllable.
Flipboard.
Bakit social media yun?
What? It's a...
Flipboard.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Called
1 word. Selfie.
Instagram.
She's good. I want her on my team.
Okay.
3 words. 3 Third word. Zombie. World War Z. First word. Scratching. I don't know. Hi. Zombie. Zombieland. Ano?
Plants versus Zombies.
Plants versus Zombie.
Oh my gosh, baka mapahiya ako. Okay. Okay, 1 minute. Oh my gosh, ano ako kaya easy words? Okay, Team NMF, we're gonna...
Ready, set, go.
Selfie.
Ay, naku!
Ang dali!
Mas mabagal pa mag-act eh.
2 syllables. First. Down. Download.
At Pico 91 on Twitter.
Shucks, matatalo tayo.
2 points pa lang tayo.
1 word.
Yeah.
3 syllables. First.
Injection. Joke.
Break. Hold. Anong tawag? Kunje.
Oh my God.
10 seconds!
Interest.
Wala na.
Ang ganda nun.
Wala na.
Nasira ko. 3 na kami.
3 na kayo.
Yeah.
You won.
Selfie, download, and Pinterest.
Finally, you won.
NMF, second win for the season.
Great job.
Wait, sorry. Nasira ko ata yung upuan.
Yung upuan?
Oo.
Paano ba nasira yung upuan?
Sige, mamaya na natin na-settle yung mga utang natin dito sa Beyond Box. Salamat nga pala.
Thank you, Maria, for joining us. We are so honored to have you here.
Yes, and of course, every day for your daily dose of news, Rappler.com, and every 9 p.m. is the Rappler Newscast. You can follow Maria on Twitter and Instagram, Maria_Ressa.
Thank you.
See you next week.
Bye.